Hey y'all, Miss Christian here. So today I have to go into Family Dollar and pick up a few things. And I decided to take you guys along with me. So I just needed I'm gonna roll up my windows. I completely forgot. So I just needed some dish detergent and just some little stuff for the house. And I actually needed to go to Menards too. So if my camera space allows, then I'll take you guys along with me there as well. So this is by my side of town of where I stay. And hold on, let me put my purse on. Where I stay, and this is called where I stay is considered a food desert. So I have to go to Family Dollar right there. This is what used to be a Kroger by me. So we don't have any grocery stores, I believe within 5 miles. And we don't have any grocery stores on a bus line. Well, I take that back. There's a Hispanic or Mexican grocery store that just came about, but they don't have like a lot of Americanized food and different things that we're used to. So that's the only grocer there is privately owned, and it doesn't have like a wide variety of things. Like I said, it's a Hispanic grocery store. It's not like it is. So most of the things there, of course, are written in Spanish, and they don't have like Heinz ketchup, or different things like that, for instance. But this used to be a Kroger, and I believe this Kroger, it's been gone for at least 13 years. At the least 13 years. And they say it closed down due to theft. I see some trucks out here right now putting more boards up because the boards get ripped down, and then people draw on the boards and all of that. So it looks like, oh, they're putting things up. Maybe they'll reopen it. No, like they'll do this maybe once every year, maybe every 8 months. If it gets really bad, or if they're getting ripped off, or somebody calls, they'll put more boards out. But for the most part, they won't really do it on their own. So this is one grocery store. That was the main grocery store. Then on the other side, once we pass it, like I said, if my space allows me, you'll get to see another grocery store that we had, that was a Walmart, and it closed about maybe 2 years ago, a year ago. It closed basically right in the middle of a pandemic. So the only next grocery store that was close, where residents could go to, they closed down. So luckily, fortunately for me, I have a car and I can drive to a regular grocery store. But if I did not have a car, I would have to take a Lyft or Uber if I did not have money, because I'm in a low income area and I could not afford a Lyft or Uber. Then I would have to come to Family Dollar, which I have before, and buy my food. Especially when my car broke down, I had to come here to purchase food. So of course we got the regular like King's Beauty, different things like that. So I just got here for no reason. So it says closed until further notice. So this is basically an everyday occurring thing. Like, this is an everyday occurring thing that they are closed. Sometimes it's people in there and they don't open up. Like, they'll say, oh, we're waiting for our next shift. They'll say we're waiting for our next shift. They'll say just anything. Oh, we're closing early, we don't have that much staff. And it could be 3 people in there and they'll close. So like, it's always a waste of time and my gas when I decided I want to stop by there. So for the most part, like, this whole area, like, it's getting bought out by like Hispanics. So they bought this whole shopping center. So you see like the colors and 2 amigos, and so they bought the shopping center. And And then they have purchased that over there, so everything you see with colors. And then this building over here, I had actually wanted to purchase, and I had wanted to start like a little market. Sorry, wanted to start like a little market, but unfortunately they end up you know, couldn't get my funds together because it had been vacant for so long. I'm like, hey, even if it's vacant for like 3 more years, I'll probably be able to come and get it. And somebody ended up buying it during the pandemic. So I am now driving into what used to be a Walmart. This is basically at the other street light, so in the opposite direction. So where we was just at was at one street light. This is just at the other street light, at the opposite direction. And this was the Walmart. So now this was basically getting all the money once that Kroger had closed like 10 years ago. This, like I said, closed about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And so this is the Walmart. Let's see if I can get it out real fast. And I need to go get some gas. We gonna get out really fast. It's a great property. I would love to own it, but it's a great property. Take my purse at the car. And yeah, so this right here, I actually called about this space right here because the person is selling this separately from this. And like this area right here, he said is already equipped for like its own power and water and everything. So, but it's just ridiculous. I think he wanted like $250,000, something ridiculous for just this area. I don't even know if that includes the woods. I think he was just talking about the mold area. And so it has a pond over here as well. So it has a pond over here as well. And then across the street, like, it's just a lot of hair stuff. It's an African shop over there. So they sell like a lot of like cassava flour, rice flours, different things like that. They don't sell any like mayo or meat. They don't sell any meat, anything like that over there. And so this is the pond. And it's gated. So that's the pond. And it goes all the way around. So this was the main grocery store. This was our Walmart grocery store. It's an apartment complex like right across the street from there. And yeah, they closed it down. They said it was due to theft, but it's like, it's not that much stealing in the world. And by me being, you know, in business and being a business owner, like that stuff gets wrote off on your taxes. If you have insurance, your insurance company gives that money back to you, like, because you can file a claim if it was that much of your business like getting stolen, because all of that stuff is an asset. Your inventory, which is the food they buy, their merchandise, all of that stuff is an asset. So they have like covered the windows up. I don't know if they're going to end up making this a warehouse, because it looks like they closed down like something right there. And they have blinds over the windows, and they have that flag up there. That flag was not there. So yeah, every time they end up closing a grocery store, they end up making it like a warehouse or something. You know, it's like, well, y'all need to just work. But it's like, you're not even giving people the resources, you know, to where like they don't even have, you know, looking at anything but crime, traffic. They're building like it's called a red line, so it's a bus system that goes all the way down our 38th Street. So a lot of that street was already small. We have potholes like the size of craters. Your whole car will fall in one of our potholes here. But the city decided to spend the money on putting a bus system in instead of fixing our roads. So like your tires will get messed up driving on our roads. We don't have grocery stores. We don't have just a lot of stores, period. There's no fast food places over here but Taco Bell and McDonald's that are walking distance. If you want something else, like, you have to go further out. So you already don't have a grocery store. And just to get to like the point of why I wanted to do this as well is because people always say like, what's your motivation? Let me come over here and talk. They always say like, well, how do you start saving money? Like, what's your motivation to get up out of this situation? Like, how do you switch your mindset to say, oh, I need to save money. Oh, I want to learn financial literacy. That's because my kids should have the right to see a grocery store without us having to drive to it. My kids should have the right to not think a firecracker is a gunshot. You know, my kids should have the right just to those bare things. But when you stay in a low income area, impoverished area, the little stuff you do have, they start taking it away from you. You know, the policing, all of that stuff you do have, they start taking it away from you. So it's like, that's another reason why I want to be self-sufficient, because if I was to call the police, they're not going to get to me probably for about 45 minutes. You know, like, it's not really a big issue to get to a place where that's a high crime area. Like, they mainly trying to pull you over to give you a ticket so that they can take more money from you. So let me get on camera so y'all can see me. So the crazy thing was, I had got a letter in the mail saying I had owed a $374 ticket. Like, I had owed a $374 ticket back from 2012, I believe it said. Something crazy. I just got it like six months ago. Probably like 4 months ago. So I called the number that was on the paper, and it was our traffic court. And they said, I said, yes, I don't owe this ticket. I don't have any tickets. Like, when I got my license reinstated, you know, back then, like, I paid all my tickets that I had, like, for driving while suspended and all of that stuff, because I don't have nobody to get me from point A to point B with my baby. So, you know, I'm driving while suspended. But I paid up all my tickets, got everything all straight. And I said, and then the cop that had pulled me over, like, they was predatory pulling me over. So I had got stopped like 4 times in a matter of like 10 to 15 minutes. Like, I was getting pulled over. One police officer wrote me a ticket, and then as soon as I would leave out of like the space, you know, the side where he was pulling me over, another police officer will pull me over. Like, he just didn't see I got pulled over. It was just so crazy that night. And so when we had went to court, the police that pulled me over ended up throwing out that ticket. Well, he looked up the records, the clerk or whatever who answered the phone, he looked up the records, and he was like, okay, I see that you don't have any tickets. You don't have any tickets, dude. Like, I do see where that was dismissed and all of that. He was like, here go the our traffic court is still closed down due to COVID, so you have to basically write a letter to the judge, and you know, they pretty backed up right now, but you have to write a letter to them because it's been over like a 30-day period. It's been over, like, this ticket is over something years old, but it's an error, so in order to fix that error, the judge has to do it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Wrote the letter. Then some months then passed by, still haven't heard nothing back. Filed my taxes just this year, and I get a hold on my state taxes. I'm like, when my state taxes deposited, I'm like, wow, more than half of my state taxes is gone, and it's a hold on it. And so when I looked up to see who had a hold on it, it was from that ticket. And I'm like, what? Like, when did you guys start doing that? Like, holding people's state taxes. And you can see that I ain't making no money. Like, you can see that I'm not making any money. So why would you even do that to a poor single mother? Like, you see that I'm not filing married. So why would you do that to a poor single mom with 4 children? And this is something new. So I ended up calling, and they said, yeah, this is something new that came into effect this year, which is it's a recording. They not even picking up the phone. They said due to high call volume, if your state taxes has been held or whatever, basically you just have to send another letter to the judge, and you have to wait until all of that stuff is taken care of. And it's like, so this is a new enactment that they could do this year, and y'all bringing up stuff that happened in 2012 that end up being an error, but y'all still holding my stuff. So it's basically saying, like, after the judge finally, whenever it gets to it, like, they'll release the funds. Who knows how long that's going to be? It'll probably be years before I even get that money back, if I even get the money back. But that just goes to show you, like, that any way they can constantly take from the poor, they take from the poor. So it's like, that's why having an emergency fund is so imperative. That's why having money saved is so imperative. That's why not spending every single dime you have is so imperative, because at any given moment, just think if that almost $400 they took from me that I was waiting on to pay a bill. Thankfully, I wasn't. But just think if I was banking on that too, that I had to move, and I was banking on that money to be able to get a U-Haul or something to move, like, I wouldn't. So it's like, you already don't have enough money, and you already in like a messed up situation. So you have to save. Like, it's not, I'll get around to it. It's, if you want better, it's not going to be handed to you. Like, they don't care about us. They don't care about our situation. They won't even make sure that we have accessibility to fruits and vegetables. So why would they care about taking any penny out of your pocket? They don't. So let's turn this back around. So that just like had irked me so bad, because it's like, wow, just think if this is what I was hanging on to, because I've been in situations like that years and years on end, where I'm waiting for money to hit just to be able to feed my son, just be able to pay a bill that's about to be disconnected, and they won't give me an extension, like all of that hardship stuff. And people just don't care. And so it's like, just think if I was waiting on that. Like, that's why in a poverty-stricken area, like mental health and the depletion of mental health is like at an all-time high, because you're constantly dealing in a state of survival mode. You constantly dealing in a state of fear. But I just really wanted to come here and show you guys like what I see on an everyday basis. And then like when we drive to the, I wouldn't even say good neighborhoods, but when we drive to neighborhoods where they actually care, and you see a grocery store, it's like, I'm not asking for too much. I'm not asking for a boardwalk by a river. I'm not asking for palm trees. I'm not asking for y'all to build like gyms and all of this stuff, which y'all don't even do that. So you got to think, you already having to eat Family Dollar food, so that's like food that's probably halfway expired. I've came in there where they've had stuff sitting out, like chicken nuggets and stuff sitting out. You could tell that they stink. Like, you could tell they've been sitting out for a minute. No air is on in the store. Like, it's hot in the store. And then you'll see somebody eventually come over and start putting up that stuff back in the freezer. So it's like, now you're buying old food, and so your health is depleting, because you can only eat what you have access to. So that's why I'm really, starting my garden, not just for this, but just because I just want to be all around self-sufficient. Like, even if I stay in a, upper neighborhood, like those grocery stores have that area has a whole different kind of issue, because they feel like the people over there have money, so the groceries is higher, so they might add $2 more to something that's already been increasing in price. So that's an issue, so it's like, so anyway, it's like the government or the city try to steal from you, they will. So at that point, like, you got to make sure that you self-sufficient. You got to make sure that you have some money to the side. Don't put all your money in the bank. You got to have some money to the side somewhere, like how they did in the old days. You got to make sure you have access to your own fruits and vegetables. Start saving your money. Like, go in your mind and think like, how can I start saving my money? Even if you're not in my situation and you make more money than me, you never know when you could be in this situation, because things happen. It's called life. So when life happens, you have to be prepared for life. Be prepared as much as possible. Just like the Bible say, like when the city and stuff had impoverished, and you know, the people were eating and all that stuff. It was, you know, a group of people still eating good, still being good. And they try to, you know, say they was bragging, basically, in today's age. And then God had to tell them, no, they didn't. They stored when the harvest was plenty. And when the harvest was lacking, you know, that was their time to eat off what they stored. I told you not to eat off everything. I told you to put something to the side, but you refused not to. So I'm gonna leave it off in here. I'm getting ready to go to Menards, but that will be in my other video when I talk about my backyard and stuff like that. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. My name is Miss Christian. I am on a self-sufficiency journey, a journey building wealth and getting out of poverty. So if that's something that you would like to see about finances, gardening, mindset, just anything that has to do with you taking your ownership back, please hit the subscribe button and the bell so you won't miss when I upload a new video. Until next time, bye.